Hello everyone, I'm DExus from the DExus Show, a big fan of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate game. I am back at the studio ready to present the second fighter of Fighters Pass Volume 3 DExus, Redbird from the Angry Birds series. Before we begin, it's been a while, huh? The previous fighter presentation was all the way back in May, and now it's December, a whole 7 months after it, taking longer than any Mr. Sakurai presentation. As stated in the first presentation, each fighter presentation will take a long time to make, as this is a one-man job and I only have my free time to work on this. While basic development on the fighter started alongside Bandana Waddle-Dee's back in December 2020, the development on this presentation began in August 2021. If I immediately began production on this fighter presentation as soon as I finished Bandana Waddle-Dee's, it would have released way earlier. But I also have other video projects I want to work on that aren't related to Fighters Pass 3 DExus. I thank you for understanding. Now back to Red. As you might know, Red comes from the popular mobile game series Angry Birds. But what is Angry Birds? Angry Birds is a game developed by Rovio Entertainment released in 2009 for mobile devices. In the game, you play as a flock of birds who got their eggs stolen by the bad piggies, ordered by their king. After getting their eggs stolen, the birds reasonably get really angry and destroy the piggies' buildings by using a slingshot to launch themselves at the pigs in an attempt to get their eggs back from the greedy king. Originally, there were 5 Angry Birds: the Junk Triplets, Jim, Jake, and Jay, also known as the Blues, the Yellow Speed Demon and second hand to the leader, Shuck, the big and strong Blackbird with an explosive personality, Bomb, and the chubby white peacemaker botanist, Matilda. After a few years and many updates, more birds have become part of this flock, with some of them being Terrence, the biggest and baddest bird with a heart of gold and extreme strength, Hal, the clumsy green boomerang bird, Bubbles, the cute sweet-toothed orange bird with the power to puff up like a balloon, Stella, the clever, playful, and adventurous pink bird who has the ability to create bubbles around her, and Silver, the wacky falcon who was raised by the pigs but became an ally to the birds. There have also been more birds who were part of the flock temporarily, like the veteran and all-powerful Mighty Eagle, and such. These birds are all led by the leader of the flock, Red, the red bird who had no ability other than sheer will and determination to get the eggs back from the evil, hungry pigs. Luckily for him, in later games he did get a few tricks up his sleeve, or in this case, wing. After the release of Angry Birds Classic, the game became an extremely popular franchise, so of course, many other games were made, like Angry Birds Seasons, Angry Birds Friends, crossovers with movies, television series, and brands, a ton of spin-offs like puzzle games for example, and a sequel released in 2015, Angry Birds 2. Oh, and as of recent, a retelling of the original game, Angry Birds Reloaded. The franchise has over 4 billion downloads, a televised animated series, and 2 films. So when I say the series was popular, I was not kidding. Unfortunately, as the recording of this presentation, the only classic titles available in all app stores are Angry Birds Friends, Bad Piggies, and Angry Birds 2, with Angry Birds Reloaded being available exclusively in Apple's game service, Apple Arcade. So if you wish to play any Angry Birds game, these are the only ones available for you at the moment. Luckily, Rovio has stated that remakes of some classic games will be returning to app stores in the future, so please look forward to that. So, this is the new fighter, Red. Let me address something quickly. As you can see, Red has no limbs. So, how will he walk? How will he grab? How will he attack? Well, the lack of limbs isn't stopping our feathery friend. He will walk just like how he does in the Angry Birds Toons series, by taking quick hops that simulate walking. To grab items, he will use the magic of cartoon logic and grab them with an invisible hand, another thing done in the series. And for some of his attacks, he will just use his body. In his natural attack, Red does a quick spin kick. Even without limbs, he still kicks. This attack is from Angry Birds Blast. You can follow up this attack with a flurry attack by quickly tapping multiple times the attack button after the jab attack. The flurry attack is called Fight Combo, as it's inspired on the attacks he does in the discontinued puzzle game Angry Birds Fight. The dash attack is a simple jumping headbutt, inspired by a scene from the Angry Birds cinematic trailer. The side tilt is simply called attack, and it's based off the way he attacks in the Angry Birds RPG, Angry Birds Epic. The up tilt is a kung fu kick, inspired by one of the birds from Angry Birds Stella, Dahlia. The down tilt is a strong angry stomp. This attack is inspired from one of the scenes from the Angry Birds cinematic trailer. In his forward throw, he charges towards the opponent with Stella's ability from the Angry Birds Stella series, the Pink Flash. Though here, since he's the one using it, it's called the Red Flash. Once it hits the opponent, he bounces back to the starting location with said ability. For his up throw, Red tosses the opponent over his head and squawks really loud, using another ability of another bird from Angry Birds Stella, Luca's Soundwave Shock. This soundwave launching the opponent diagonally upwards, with great knockback but little damage. In the back throw, he uses another ability of someone from Stella's flock from Angry Birds Stella, Willow's Vortex Spin. Red quickly hops and spins with insane speed next to the opponent, this sliding the opponent through the ground and launching them from behind. And for the down throw, he uses Poppy's Tornado Dive, another ability from another bird in the flock from Angry Birds Stella. For now, Red has only used his own abilities and used the abilities from other birds from another flock. But for the rest of the neutral attacks, Red's flock will appear to help. You know what they say, birds of a feather stick together. And here in Smash, also fight together. Red grabs the opponent with the help of Stella, who holds onto the opponent in one of her bubbles. Red pummels the grabbed opponent by popping the bubble with an anger stomp. Stella then makes another bubble quickly after to grab them again. For the rest of the attacks that summon birds, they will tend to linger in place after attacking an enemy, or if they don't attack anyone at all and instead hit a wall or the floor. In some of the attacks, some birds will be flying throughout the entire stage, and they do not have a limit to where they go. They will stop once they hit someone or something. Once they do, they won't do any more damage and linger hurt in the floor for a couple of seconds before puffing away. For the aerials, you can press and hold the attack button to hold onto your bird and release the button for them to do their attack. Just note that if you do this, the bird will get damaged and will drop from Red's grip if they have contact with anything. So, in his forward air, he uses the help of the Blues, who split from where he is currently in and fly forwards. This attack is quick and a bit weak. In his back air, he uses the help of Shuck, who uses his ability to the opposite of where Red is looking at. This attack is strong and quick. In his neutral air, Bomb appears over Red and explodes once the attack button is released. For his down air, Matilda appears over Red. Once the attack button is released, she will drop an explosive egg under her and she will fly diagonally upwards as a weak projectile. The egg explosion is pretty strong, while the rest of Matilda is a very weak projectile. And in his up air, he uses the help of the newest member of the flock, Silver, the falcon introduced in Angry Birds 2. In this attack, she does a quick, strong loop upwards. Once she returns to the spot she was summoned in without hitting anything during the loop, she will crash straight down, doing a lot of damage to anyone that gets hit by the attack, whether that being from the loop section or the crash down section. In his side smash, Terrence pushes himself slightly forwards with great strength. He then disappears, as he's one of the two birds who don't linger around after being summoned. In his down smash, Hal, the boomerang bird, flies forwards. Then after a short distance, he quickly returns to the other side. During this part of the attack, if he hits an opponent, he won't get damaged, and will continue to attack. Only after returning to the place he was summoned in, he will be affected by hitting anything. Finally, in his up smash, Bubbles puffs up behind Red, and quickly after deflates with great speed upwards. The idea here was to replicate the feel of the Slingshot Angry Birds titles by having most of the birds fly around to attack. Plus, to pair them up with the neutral special, which is the bird's main form of attack, the Slingshot. If you tap the special button in the ground, Red will hop onto the Slingshot and launch himself towards the location of the nearest opponent. You can alternatively press and hold the attack button to manually aim where you will fly towards. Your direction will be indicated by a few dots in the front of Red. When you're ready to fly, let go of the attack button. Once being launched, he will behave like a projectile and will crash towards the opponent. If Red successfully hits an opponent with his body, he will then bounce a bit off the opponent and enter freefall. To get out of this projectile status before hitting an opponent, simply jump or air dodge to regain the ability to move in the air. During the flight, you can instead opt to do an aerial attack. You can also press the special button in midair to perform Red's ability from Angry Birds 2. This attack sends a slightly damaging, quick and weak wind box forwards, pushing the opponent hit by it away. You can also do this attack without being launched from the slingshot by simply tapping the special button in midair, as he will only hop into the slingshot if the attack is made in ground. Essentially, Red has two neutral specials, the slingshot, which is done in the ground, and the battle cry, which is done in the air. Next is his up special, Red's Mighty Feathers. For this attack, Red whips up a couple of Mighty Eagle's feathers and uses them to fly towards the desired direction. This attack functions like a stronger and faster, yet riskier version of the slingshot. If you simply tap the special button, Red will fly towards the nearest opponent's direction. And if you press and hold the attack button, you're able to aim where you want Red to fly towards. Once the direction is set, Red will fly with full force towards said direction. Once Red either hits something or someone, or once he reaches a set distance, he will enter freefall while still slowly traveling towards the direction he was aimed at. Unlike the slingshot, there is no way to leave this attack, and you cannot use any other attacks during this. You can though use this attack after launching yourself from the slingshot. Next, it's his side special, in which he summons the bird's mortal enemies, the Bad Piggies. There will be a lot going on here, so please listen carefully. With this attack, Red will scream at a recently summoned piggy, and said pig will walk towards the selected direction. The piggy will then stop walking if two of the requirements are set. The first requirement is if he doesn't walk into an opponent, in which the piggy will stop on his tracks and build a contraption that will stay in the battlefield for as long as the players allow it, with the pig, of course, sitting inside of it. Any player in the battlefield can attack the contraption for it to break, causing damage to anyone near it with the falling rubble of it. The second requirement is if the pig does run into an opponent. If he walks into an opponent, he will quickly laugh and trap the opponent in a contraption. The pig will then disappear while the opponent is stuck inside of the contraption, where the pig would usually sit. The trapped opponent can mash the control stick to get out of it, but it takes double time than being buried. While an opponent is trapped inside, anyone in the battlefield can attack the contraption and break it, releasing the trapped opponent, while certifying them getting hit by the rubble made in the destruction. There are a total of 7 contraptions, and they are all identified by pig. The more rare the pig, the stronger the damage caused by the contraption is. The pigs and contraptions are the following, starting from the most common to the most rare. First is the medium pig, the most common pig. It will build the weakest contraption, made out of glass and wood. Takes 1 normal attack to break. In some rare occasions, the medium pig will instead build a contraption made out of wood and stone, causing slightly more damage than the normal contraption, but the difference is almost insignificant. Also takes 1 normal attack to break. Slightly less common than the medium pig is the small pig. It builds a small contraption made out of ice, wood, and stone. The contraption takes 2 normal attacks to break. In a rare occasion, a small pig will instead build a contraption made out of wood and stone, and said contraption will have a TNT box inside of it. This contraption also takes 2 normal attacks to break. The damage caused by this contraption is significantly more than the previous, but it has a smaller hitbox due to the explosion destroying some of the rubble. Another pig is the corporal pig, which builds a contraption made out of glass, wood, and stone. The contraption takes 3 normal attacks to destroy. Once destroyed, it costs double the damage than the medium pig's contraption. Next up is the 4-man pig, which builds a contraption made out of wood and a little bit of stone. The contraption takes 4 normal attacks to break, and causes double the damage than the small pig's contraption. Finally is King Pig, who builds a contraption made out of stone and wood. The contraption takes 2 strong attacks to break. Its damage is deadly, but you only have a 1% chance of getting this pig. Finally, for his down special, Red plays with a deck of cards, spell cards to be exact. In the Angry Birds 2 game, you play with a deck of cards, and before most levels, you are allowed to bring with you a couple of spell cards that work as power-ups, helping you in the selected level. Here in Smash, Red brought one of each with him. You have to press and hold the special attack button to view your deck of cards. With the control stick, you select your desired card, and once you let go of the special button, you select your card. If you tap the special button, Red will select the card on top of his deck. The spell cards are the Golden Duck spell. By using this spell, Red summons a few golden ducks to rain from the top of the stage. They fall from random spots, and once in contact with a wall, floor, platform, or fighter, they will bounce to the opposite direction. These golden ducks pack a big punch, but it's hard to hit an opponent with it because they are very easy to avoid. Blizzard spell. A quick cold breeze travels towards the nearest opponent. If an opponent is hit by it, they will get the freezy effect. The Chili spell. A fireball travels forwards from Red. It will slightly home towards any nearby opponent. After a certain distance, or if it reaches an opponent, it will cause an explosion. And there is the Pig Inflator spell, in which a green laser will home after the nearest opponent. If it hits the opponent, they will get the flower effect. Each card has one use. The spell is no longer available until you either get a new stock, or once Red fills up the Destructometer. The Destructometer from Angry Birds 2 reads on Red's battle UI. The more Red attacks an opponent, the more the Destructometer gets filled. Once the Destructometer is completely filled, Red gets a new spell card in use order. Lastly, for his final smash, Red uses another spell card, the Mighty Eagle. Once Red gets to use his final smash, he throws a sardine can onto his slingshot and then launches it forwards. If you start his final smash by pressing and holding the B button, you'll be able to aim where the sardine can is thrown. If the sardine can hits an opponent, said opponent's shield will immediately break. And soon after, the Mighty Eagle will come crashing into the battlefield to take his favorite snack, while hurting anyone he crashes into, aside from the fighter that summoned him, of course. When he crashes onto the floor, he also causes the POW effect, hitting anyone standing on the ground, again aside from the fighter that summoned him. I'll also touch on a few other things. Kirby acts very cool when he copies Red's ability, since he wears a handmade costume that might seem familiar to fans of the Angry Birds series. Red's taunts are a quick angry scream after holding it in, a smug yet reserved scoff, and a happy victory jump. Here are his color variations, all of them being based off other members of the flock, with those being blue for the Blues, yellow for Shuck, black for Bomb, white for Matilda, a darker red for Terrence, green for Hal, and gray for Silver. Red's victory animations are the following. One based off the victory animation from Angry Birds 2, another based off the key artwork from Angry Birds Toons, and one based off the original victory cutscene from Angry Birds Classic. I hope that you enjoyed the references to many appearances and animations of his and the rest of the flock. Now I'll introduce you to the stage, Piggy Island, a traveling stage that takes you through the 3 main areas from Angry Birds 2. Let me show you each of these areas. We first start in Cobalt Plateaus. Fans of the web series Angry Birds Slingshot stories might find this layout familiar. That's because it is modeled after the location of every episode. Moving through these areas is possible thanks to the help of the bad piggies who are flying us around their ship. A minion pig lets us know that we're moving on and picks us up on the top of the ship. Here we get a better view of the beautiful Piggy Island from afar. Breathtaking, isn't it? But don't get too attached to the view, because just when it seems you've come to a stop, the ship will go flying back down and land you in another area from the island. The second being Pig City. Here, we fight over the pigs' homes in a windy day. Next up is our final stop, Bamboo Forest. While it's mostly based off its appearance in Angry Birds 2, it's made to look like the first chapter of Angry Birds Classic, Poached Eggs. After this, we will return to Cobalt Plateaus, and the cycle will start once again. Next, let's talk about the music. I focused on having tracks from Angry Birds games currently available, with the exception of the classic Angry Birds theme and its remix for the console release of the games, Angry Birds Trilogy. I hope that you enjoyed the tracks selected. This Challenger pack, much like the previous DLC, comes with a Spirit Board and Classic mode. In this section, I will be showing you both. Don't expect much detail though. First, have a look at the Spirit list. Yeah, there are many, aren't there? Here's a brief rundown of every new Spirits battle. Here are the Blues, here is Chuck, here is Bomb, this is Matilda, following her is Terrence, Hal is up next, Bubbles follows up, here's Stella, and the last of the birds is Silver. Next is Minion Pig, Chef Pig, Foreman Pig, the King of the Pigs, King Smooth Cheeks. Next is his father, King Mudbeard, also known as Leonard. Then we have the legend, Mighty Eagle. Finally is Mighty Eagle's ex, Zeta. I am not supposed to say this, but there is a legendary spirit hitting in the Spirit Board, the Golden Egg. And here is the Classic mode. The route is called Birds of a Feather, and it has you fighting against Red's flock. Can you guess what character each fighter represents? Now, on to the Mii Fighters. Please take a look. All of the Mii costumes in this Mii Fighter set are based off some of the most popular mobile games of their time. Well, I think that wraps it up for my Redbird showcase. I had a lot of fun adding one of my childhood favorite characters to one of my favorite franchises. I hope that you also had fun seeing how I brought my ideas to life. I am once again off to this time take a small break, but then I'll be back to working hard. So, I hope that you'll continue to support this series and the channel. That is all. Thank you.